Good afternoon, everyone. Now I'm going to bring you part two of what happened over there in Portland. And this time I don't really know the name of this guy that is speaking, but after him, then you're going to have Damian Crawford. And trust me, they're saying it just as it is. And I want you guys to watch and listen to everything that they are saying, because like I said, they are speaking the truth. Everything they are saying is something for your ears to listen. So I'm going to ask you to listen. So at the end of this voice note, I'm going to play the video of everything that took place over there. And there was a lady too, but I don't know. I don't get the name of the lady also who was giving her speech also. So guys, please listen up and and tell me what do you think about everything that is being said over there. The heat is heated over there now. It's hot over there, because what I found out that the Baslan people and the Baslan saying all different manner of story, but nothing going like what they're saying. So, and what I love again in part one where Isat, how it's going around helping the students, he giving out 1,000. How much? 1,000 plenty tablets you give out to the. Imagine they're not in power, They're not in power, and they are advocating and they are doing so much for the students and the young people already. But just this is to show how well they would do, because as I said, PNP parties for the poor people, JLP for the rich people. You understand? And you notice how these people walk the streets and lanes and meet and greet and everybody. You notice how them operate different of the others. Yeah, man, so it make me feel proud when they are doing this. So please listen and watch, and you will see and hear whatever they are saying. So thank you.
Hello. Comrade Isat Wakaran. Last time I came to Portland was my first time speaking on a political platform. I recognize the work that you have been doing here. Very good work, and I've supported that work from day one. And you too should continue to support the work that he is doing out here in Portland. Come right, right. Don't mind Alfred, he doesn't understand. If there ever was an incubator for leaders, not just for Jamaica and the Caribbean, it is the land of Taylor. It's written in the mountains. Comrade and friends, also have to big up my colleagues who are here, Comrade Dawes and others. Chief Curry, big up yourself every time. Welcome as well. Hello. Comrade Isat Wakaran. Last time I came to Portland was my first time. From a macroeconomic standpoint, my research has shown that the productivity is impacted by two main factors. One, human capital development, which is the level of education of our people, and two, the level of corruption that has been taking place in this country. And we cannot stand on a platform and speak about the leadership of Jamaica without talking about the negative impact that corruption, the negative impact that the embezzlement from government programs, the negative impact that the three-tier contract system, 20% here, 20% here, 20% here, only 40% left to do the work. This has to stop. And that is why I'm happy that we have a leader like Mark Gold, a man of integrity, a man of character, a man who does not see the budget as a purse to rob, but as a man who will invest in the country with all his effort and his ability to make Jamaica a better place. From a macroeconomic standpoint, my research has shown that the productivity is impacted by two main factors. One, human capital development, which is the level of education of our people, and the Jamaican economy declined by 1%. What happened was that it started growing in the first half of the year, But by the time it got to the third quarter, the economy declined by 3.5%. And by it got to the fourth quarter, it declined by a further 1.8%. Now, many of us hear about economic growth and we hear about economic contractions that lead to recessions. And currently there's a big debate between the JP government, the PIOJ, and the Oxford Dictionary as to what a recession is. The dictionary says that a recession is 2 consecutive periods of negative growth. But the government tries to mask their definition by saying that there are other factors that contribute to a recession. They go on by saying that they have been increasing employment, so it should feel good that more people are working. In a country like Jamaica, of such remarkable people, people with such high ambitions, people who want to see the future of the country resembling that of the United States of America, resembling that of the Jamaican economy declined by 1%. Every year, we want to see the country grow. And we talk about growth, right? It's a big thing in the news every time Jamaica wants to grow. I mean, in 2016, the government came out and they said that in 4 years, they envision that the country is going to grow by 5% per annum. It has now been 9 years and the country is experiencing negative growth. Jamaica is what is called a small island developing state, a SID. And being a SID, it means that you're susceptible to negative as well as positive shocks from external economies. It seems that the negative shocks have been impacting us more and more and more compared to the positive shocks. Now, I want you to think about the economy and think about what is it that you want for yourself and what is it that you want for your children and your children's children. Think about an economy that is growing less than it did last year, but it's employing more people than it did last year. It means that we have more people working without the right compensation because it's like too many cooks spoil the broth. More people being employed. Every year, we want to see the country grow. And we talk about growth, right? It's a big thing in the news every time Jamaica wants to grow. I mean, in 2016, the government came out and they said that in 4 years, they envision that the country is going to grow by 5% per annum. It has now been 9 years and the country is experiencing. The People's National Party is going to put in order all the industries where they are to be. We face challenges in healthcare. When you look across the country, and Dr. Dawes said it, the level of technological and innovational inputs that we need is just not there. In Montego Bay, where I am, the Cornwall Regional Hospital is a disgrace. CT scan, people have to leave the hospital to go get that done privately. Sometimes not even a simple x-ray they can get done at the hospital, and this has to change. Our young people are disenfranchised from the current way they are being taught. They are seeing the future ahead, and we are holding them in the present and the past. With the advent of the fourth industrial revolution, AI, Internet of Things, now more than ever, we have to position our people to take full advantage of where the world is going. And let me take you back down memory lane. In 1950, technology represented 0% of China's GDP. At that time, countries recognized the technological boom that the world was going to embark on. China, Singapore, Japan, Hong Kong, Taiwan, even the simple United States took the people People's National Party is going to put in order all the industries where they are today. We face challenges in healthcare. When you look across the country, and Dr. Dawes said it, the level of technological and speaks about it. Look at how asset prices impact the economy. Looks at the interest rate pass through from the central bank to the commercial bank to the consumer. And what we have been seeing is that over the last 5 years, macroeconomic policy, especially monetary policy, has not been facilitating to growth. And what do we mean? We have what is called reactive monetary policy. So we only change interest rates when America changes interest rates. I said to them, listen, if we want to boost output, we have to make investments cheaper for our investors. What is the price of investment? It is the interest rates. So if you are coming out of COVID-19 and you believe that you need to increase interest rate to prevent capital flight, you also have to understand that that increase in interest rate is going to deter investment. Because when a man has interest rates of 6%, it's easier for him to borrow money than an interest rate of 10%. So we have to now understand that money is the engine of growth where investments are concerned. So the central bank also has a role to play in facilitating how the economy grows. We have to begin to look at how fiscal and monetary policy. You are coming out of COVID-19 and you believe that you need to increase interest rate to prevent capital flight. You also have to understand that that increase in interest rate is going to deter investment. Because when a man has interest rates of 6%, it's easier for him to borrow money than an interest rate of 10%. So we have to now understand that money is the engine of growth where investments are concerned. So the central bank also has a role to play in facilitating how the economy grows. We have to begin to look at how fiscal and monetary policy, how asset prices. We recognize that the cannabis industry, ganja of which we speak, has the potential to earn for Jamaica over 11.1 billion US dollars per year, which is over like 70% of our GDP. And not just for us, for other Caribbean countries to come into play based on their topography. We can grow a type of ganja that is good for Alzheimer's over in St. Vincent. We can grow a type of ganja that is good for cancer over there in Dominica. We can grow a type of ganja that is good for ADSD over there in St. Kitts. And we can grow a type of ganja that is good for a different type of cancer in Jamaica. And we can trade amongst each other where both medicines are concerned. We have to begin to think about the goods that possess value. We cannot expect at any stage to want to produce low-value goods and trade it for high-valued imports from abroad. We cannot expect to grow low-valued agricultural crops and trade them for high-valued technology goods from abroad. Jamaica has a lot of potential, and as a government, we recognize that the cannabis industry, ganja of which we speak, has the potential to Member of Parliament. Who will take, what do you say, vengeance on my behalf? Respect and honor to one of the stalwarts of the Caribbean, one of my mentors, a person who have been in the fight for a long time and remain committed to equity as a concept within the world. Ralph Gonzalez, Love and Honor, St. Vincent, Pass. I see some brethren here from school time. I don't know if I should announce it. But some stalwarts in all different areas of life. I don't want to announce it and load them up because they are arresting people for being on PMP stage. So we have to keep reaching a problem, you know, just because. But we're bridging from 12-year-old to now. Respect, my brother. Member of Parliament. From Portland. I will always love East Portland. Never will I forget the effort, the commitment. And while we have the record, I want to give it up when this election is called. I think another Rasta should take that record and give it forward. But in truth, I really love you now, and I love how they make me feel welcome and wanted every single time. From Portland. Never will I forget 38 of my cousins and myself and my sister have a first degree, and 11 have a second degree, starting from 1. And so the concept that guides the PMP's education principle is 1 degree per household. That it is our long-term strategy that every household should have a degree. I hear some people seek to ridicule that success, that principle, by saying we should focus on pre-primary and focus on this and focus on that. It automatically assumes a focus on all previous levels because there can be no degree if you're illiterate. So 1 degree assumes that at least 1 literate is in every household. It presumes that 1 primary school achiever is in the household. It assumes that 1 CXC getter, because all of those are precursors to get to 1 degree per household. I see some stalwarts in them saying allow them up and I allow them up. All right, cool. So when we look at that, how do we achieve that in East Portland? And as you know, that was my dream. 38 of my cousins and myself and my sister have a first degree, and 11 have a second degree, starting from 1. And so the concept that guides the PMP's education principle is 1 degree per household. That it is our long-term strategy that every household should have a degree. I hear some people seek to ridicule that success, that principle, by saying we should focus on pre-primary and focus on this and focus on that. It automatically assumes a focus on all previous levels because there can be no degree if you're illiterate. So 1 degree assumes that at least 1 literate is in every household. It presumes that 1 primary school achiever is in the household. It assumes that 1 CXC getter, because all of those are precursors to get to 1 degree per household. I see some stalwarts in them saying allow them up and I allow them up. All right, cool. So when we look at that, how do we achieve that in East Portland? And as you know, that was my dream. Of my cousins and myself and my sister have a first degree, and 11 have a second degree, starting from 1. And so the concept that guides the PMP's education principle is 1 degree per household. that it is our long-term strategy that every household should have a degree. I hear some people seek to ridicule that success, that principle, by saying we should focus on pre-primary and focus on this and focus on that. It automatically assumes a focus on all previous levels because there can be no degree if you're illiterate. So one degree assumes that at least one literate is in every household. It presumes that one primary school achiever is in the household. It assumes that one CXC getter, because all of those are precursors to get to one degree per household. I see some stalwarts in the, them say not allow them up and I allow them up. All right, cool. Let's start by ensuring that at the early childhood level, there are sufficient trained teachers, because the base development of the child's brain happens in the first 5 years. They say 80% of the child's brain function will be spending on ensuring that the schools that are basic schools have qualified teachers and also that they have satisfactory infrastructure. Myself and Isat have a conversation that we might have to go to court because the Constitution states that is the right of every child to primary and pre-primary education. And if it is that this is only private, that right is being abridged and abrogated. We also then will start by ensuring that at the early childhood level, there are sufficient trained teachers, because the base development of the child's brain happens in the first 5 years. They say 80% of the child's brain function takes place between 0 and 5-year-old. And so it must be the principle and policy of the People's National Party to ensure that that start is a reasonable start for every child in this country. And for those who are not understanding that importance, then why is it that they who are saying we can't afford it contribute so much to their own children getting that preschool and that basic school? So we will be spending on ensuring that the schools that are basic schools have qualified teachers and also that they have satisfactory infrastructure. Myself and Isat have a conversation that we might have to go to court because the Constitution. So we propose that 2 days a week must be for homework, sending home my 11th grade child with maths work to do at home with a 9th grade dropout parent. What sense does that make? And so he becomes frustrated not understanding this homework. So we will facilitate homework centers for 2 hours in your schools in East Portland. And we are blessed in East Portland with case where we can recruit some of those students to become facilitators of those homework sessions. It means, therefore, that for some reason we have continued to send home children 2:30 when parents don't reach home till 7. And then we wonder why they're being impregnated by adults and recruited by gangs. And so we will move it to 4:30, facilitate that, and help those students from case who are having difficulty to move forward. We're also going to fight to teach and keep our teachers in the schools. Good teachers are now becoming dime and unavailable, being recruited, as you know, Sir Ralph, by the United States and England with wanton disregard for the realities that we face. So much so that we don't even know when they're leaving until school ready to start. So we propose that 2 days a week must be for homework, and in the party about when we should come with our ideas. Because we know, they're not, especially with my one, they're not give me a break. Them keep it all before the say it sometimes. But we feel that it must be easier for a teacher to own a home and a vehicle. One of the #1 initiators' motives for migration is to own those two assets that they perceive to be so important. And so we will negotiate with the NHT, but also for every 5 years that a teacher remains in the classroom, they will get concession consideration of increasing levels so that they can stay longer and get better vehicle at each time. Yeah, if Andrew said that in a film speech, we are going to carry this. Make sure you catch it on tape. You not here? We come again, and we will also go to the embassies to negotiate a strategy of recruitment that allows us to plan better for the absence of teachers. We have situations, even in Portland, where you have some PE teachers teaching maths class because you don't have a man in the party about when we should come with our ideas. Because we know, yeah, they're around, especially with my one, them. Is to also introduce vocational education from 10th grade for the HEART program. The pathway that you have for 13th grade should mean a child could choose a vocational pathway and move from 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, and 13th grade to have a level 4 in HEART to graduate at that level. That person that leaves with a level 4 in HEART will then be able to go to UTech or any other degree program because he now has conquered the vocational level. What we have is to give them level 2 and then tell them they have to go all the way down to Buff Bay or go all the way up to Manshani, a whole different process and procedure. And when they apply full, and it full for how long, and when they eventually go, they can't get the certificate, and it becomes crazy. So from the HEART funds, we will put an infrastructure within each school for at least 4 vocational offerings. And that will be able to take the child in the day and then to take the adult in the night. If we are in Portland, because we don't have no hospital, we don't have a proper clinic down there, and every single baby that is born from Western Portland, from Red Leader, they have to either rush to Port Antonio Hospital, or most of them from Red Leader, unfortunately, is born in the parish of St. Mary. We don't have no baby born in a West Portland. Nowhere. But I am not here today to speak about that. The next PNP administration will relocate the Hope Bay police station back to its original place, which is the center of the town. That way, it is better able to provide security for businesses and the residents. Most importantly, we will explore legislation to earmark specific local tourism zones where Jamaicans, Portlanders, entrepreneurs, and small business people are given power. My heart is full when it comes. Because I know we have not just comrades here. I see a whole heap of orange. But I know we have other persons here. But we also are being all over the world. So I want to also acknowledge those online. We have natural resources and attractions here in Portland. We have the Blue Mountain Bicycle Tour in the west, Somerset Falls in the west. And let me just put on notice that it is my intention to develop the community of Chelsea in the Swift River Valley as one of the newest attractions to Portland. We have rafting, ladies and gentlemen, comrades all. We have rafting on the Rio Grande. We have Reach Falls, Many Falls, the Blue Lagoon. We have the world famous Boston Jerk, None Such Cave, Motown Maroons in the east, and my own Charlestown Maroon in the west. So heritage tourism, because I know we have not just comrades here, I see a holy pass. I also, before I go any further, I want to recognize my fellow colleagues in the house. I see when Comrade Damien come in, the place get excited. Dr. Dawes, Dr. Andre. But most importantly, I want to recognize you, the comrades who came out this evening to support the initiative of Comrade Isat Buchanan. Comrades, it's important. It is very important, comrades, to bring the heat this evening. While speaking, we have to emphasize the failure of a member of parliament of 18 years to develop any industry and any meaningful employment or any way of living for the people of West Portland and now East Portland. To the honored guest here, we must bring the heat by putting forward plans. I also, before I go any further, want to recognize my fellow colleagues.